I've got contacts.
Alright, I'll start recording. But too bad this joke didn't make it to the recording.
Yeah,
but...
no, I was gonna ask for like, are you already recording? Because this would make some great bloopers.
So sad. Yeah, welcome back. As promised, here we have the concept art analysis featuring JV Sphere Freak, right? For
Sphere
Break.
Yeah.
Sphere Break.
Sphere Freak.
Oh, come on, why did you use my name?
I don't know. How should we call you?
No longer on drugs, Sag.
No longer addressed. Yeah, an anonymous source, a
Just use
witness,
everybody's nicknames on the server.
our fellow Italian buddy Caterpillar, Damsino.
As I was gonna say, this is gonna be very difficult to keep going.
You've been summoned to analyze with me the concept art from Xenoblade 3, yeah. Basically a compilation of images thanks to the Google Drive folder by Sword Ballet, and No Longer on Drugs has just shared some pictures of the rest of the artbook. So there's some interesting stuff to consider. Some pictures that look like in-game screenshots with some drawings above it. We'll talk about that later. Some very old concept arts that are very different from the final game. And some changes in location and nods to, for example, feature redeem or characters that we don't see fully in the whole game. Well, first of all, this was on my Aetia analysis video. That this looked like Alpheto Ballet at first, but it's the road to everblight plains, because you can see Caporn Peak, JV's favorite.
Oh no.
But you can see some waterfalls falling from it that were supposed to.
Indeed.
I forgot the name of the lake, but there's like a pond at the beginning of the road to Everblight. Yeah, but in the base game they are frozen.
I mean, Capricorn Peak's dreadful in the first place, and so anything is an improvement over the current rendition of the area that we have. But you all knew I was going to say that.
It definitely looks more
You
open
can-
than Capricorn
How is it?
currently.
Way more open, and you can see what appears to be Colony 4 or some prototype of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not much to see here. Okay, let's begin with the first area. Okay, this looks like a copy-paste, or at least in the background, some sort of 3D model screenshot of Xenoblade 2 Goromod. But this is what should be, for example, Isana Plains. But it's like this is very early concept art.
The machine looks like the Ferronis Hulk that you go to. It kind of looks like a concept for that Ferronis Hulk first one.
Yeah, and the Mechonis finger, one lonely finger. Okay, here it is.
Do you have a direct comparison?
Yeah, that's like they got the same waterfall here, and
Yeah.
This waterfall here. And here you have this is a picture of Goromod placed above the concept art. As you can see, it's the same waterfall area, but the whole Great Spine arc is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can see better now what you're talking about. Yeah.
It always looked like, to a certain extent, Goromod to me. I mean, on closer inspection, it's not exactly the same, but just from an immediate glance, a lot of the terrain did look
It
similar.
looks very similar.
I always viewed the big metal thing, though, or this was just my first initial reaction. I always viewed that as actually being a gun.
A bigger
Kind of
gun.
similar to what they, kind of similar to something that they had in Xenogears. At the time, I thought it was just going to be like an ancient, massive weapon or something that, I don't know, could have been cool if that was something like that the original people who found themselves in Ionios tried to use against Origin and Mobius, and that's the remains of it, but probably not. Just was my initial reaction when I first originally saw this piece.
So when do we think that all of this was made? Like, especially looking at the party members.
Very early on. They
Yeah,
already
I
did
would-
Xenoblade 2, obviously, but we have the Monado replica on Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Party
I
members.
really
are-
You
can't
know, the
exactly point
girl
out.
with the fire kind of hair, her general aesthetic reminds me of Glimmer just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's high-end, yeah, but yeah. Like the attitude
sure,
in the
yeah.
pose.
Or it could have just been maybe like an archetype that they wanted to include somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back later
the
at this, but the usage of the Monado Rex plus in this art book overall is very weird and also very interesting.
This will be then Alfetu Valley and Melnath Path? Melnath?
Mm-hmm.
Shoulder in Xenoblade 3. And all of this terrain, oh, you can see my hand, sorry, yeah. All of these terrains become hills, cliffs, and etc. But here we have another concept of the same area, because we have the Ferronis Hulk, grassy plains, and also the finger is way up higher, so maybe Captocorn, instead of Captocorn, the snow area would have been the Mechonis finger frozen above, way above? I don't know. Because it's the same structure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't have the image with the life motifs, but I believe that Captocorn Peaks track has some of Galahad Fortress motifs, or the rhythm, certain instruments, but I could be wrong. Like a very
Off the top of my head, I don't know,
yeah.
to be honest.
But here the terrain we can see that change a bit. This is like the border of Goromod, like, but way more
Yeah.
curvy. But it's like deformed terrain and some stuff underneath.
Yeah, you definitely see that type of root in the Melna shoulder area in 3.
Yeah, the idea of using trees as muscles, tissue. Yeah, I will have loved to see this.
Also that. In general, all of this image also reminds me, it's very Silva Long Life. In general, a lot of the art book has this, like you said, curved structures that just float in midair. And I really wonder if we'll ever see something like this again.
I
With
hope.
3, they probably, I think that they cut a lot of like more fantastic style of environment 3 to support the tone of the game. So I really wonder if it's something that they're gonna come back later on.
Yeah, but also having this should be some trouble, or could be some trouble when placing the fins, especially the bigger one. I think maybe that's why they cut it, to make the terrain more familiar. Maybe, but I like Xenoblade 3's map. I am one of the few. No, but with this image and others, I can agree when some say that we were robbed by this curved terrain.
Yeah, we are robbed with basically every Xenoblade game because the concept art is always insane.
Yeah. And what are these? Do you have any idea? Like some plants with holes, like cheese?
it's incredibly weird. They don't look like trees to me,
But something
unless
with
they're
holes.
just very, very, very like low quality trees that they just draw
Yeah,
to fill in the concept, the drawing.
either that or like some kind of unique kind of vegetation.
Yeah. What else? Ah, yeah. We have Uraya looks quite different in the concept art. We have obviously this one on the top that looks like a
Mhm.
mountain with a hole, but we have these two ones where it's like the head was
Where the-
straight against the ground. It's very rotated.
Yeah.
Tilted.
Yeah, it seems like the explosion, the annihilation explosion in this early concept was actually an explosion, and before, and just after its activation, it actually blew away some of the material, especially in the bottom one.
Mhm. This
The one on the
looks-
left
Hmm?
even looks like it has some kind of man-made element under Uriah. Like on the top, you can see, like the top of the head of Uriah, but the bottom, it looks like it has like some kind of man-made design
Yeah.
right there.
I think I have a. Yeah, it can look a little bit like more Ardain at first glance.
Yeah.
But it's when I found a direct picture because of this
Ah.
horn. It has, well, the stuff in. Yeah, I don't know how to speak. No, the
A
thing
similar
has the
structure.
stuff. Yeah, and the little circles there, but there are way more circles in the concept art.
Mhm.
And yeah, and artificial, as you said, because it's like a more akin to more Ardain, which
Yeah.
also has its head frozen. Where else? Ah, yeah, this is like this part, but with the terrain more curvy, deformed by annihilation, diffusion, etc. And as you can see, Uriah is in the background. So, ah, yeah, and Milik Meadows appears to be much, or used to be much larger in the concept art. We'll see this image later, but in one of the arcs, for example, we have like the concept of a Ferronis crane, I don't know how to call it, and weird mountains with holes in both of these.
Yeah, I think that was just when they were going for the full giant scope, especially for the one with for the crane part. That they just didn't know what actually how the maps would actually look like, so they just went on and on. For the one on the bottom, though, it's very interesting because we actually have like someone very similar to Noah. So at this point,
Yeah.
we're probably just more in the 2019, 2020 range of development, in my opinion.
Yeah, but this one, it looks, or at least for me, looks like partially a screenshot with some drawings above it because of how Uriah and the Ferronis Hulk area looks. Well, and Noah with the grass just in that section. Here I have the grass should be here. They are in the
Yeah.
same position. It's like the
True.
as someone
Especially
said.
for the Ferronis look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But with more mountains with weird shapes, like in this one. So there was more terrain to the left apparently that was cut,
Mhm.
and that's how we ended up with the small Milik Meadows. Well, this isn't the map analysis or what JB was doing about talking shit about every map.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a big empty or dead zone in the middle where there is a lake where you fight Gray and all of that. That whole area could have been used for something like this.
It would have been much better if it was
They-
actually utilized. Instead, even like you say, instead of being a huge lake, which you might want to put on screen when we talk about this, instead of it being this just massive lake, something like this with river and actual terrain to walk through would have just made it far more interesting. You can keep the same thematics of it being a wetland or however you want to do it, but it just immediately transforms what is a relatively pointless and annoying area to traverse,
There's
because
like
even though it's
one-
not,
sorry, there's like one unique enemy and that's it, where you fight.
Yeah.
Prey. Mhm.
it would have just added a lot to this ordinarily plain and bland area.
Could have been so much more, as Klaus would say.
Yeah.
Often with concept art they use photo bashing, so they implement screenshots, etc. of existing images. So it could literally just be screenshots of it with art drawn over. Yeah. So it's common. Let's see, what else? Yeah, in the like one of the last ones of the ITR region was this curved terrain that have this wheel that resembles the Torigoth crane, but the crane part has fallen over, and it also has the bridge. There are two cranes and the bridge in the middle. You know the ones, right?
Yeah.
You know, the image on the right reminds me of Sylvan a little bit.
For the colors.
Yeah, just like I
and the
said
arcs.
before.
Yeah.
There's
the
a
art-
specific
the
place
art
in
is
Sylvan that's
special.
literally exactly like that.
Do you know why? Who's gonna say?
Okay. This appears to be, well, a mix of this area with Goromod fins, but also with this part in Isana Plains, where the big fin is, or tail. I don't know what that is. But yeah, that this also has photo
That
bashing
looks
apparently.
like, the fins look like
You can see-
from like Goromod kinda, but like aged very.
They added this part with the broken land bridge here, but I like that part, so nothing to say. Okay, small section about the Ferronises. I don't know if it's intentional, but some Ferronises, especially the Kevesi ones, resemble some animals, I think. Like, the cannons on Colony 9 look like, how do you call this in English?
For a step?
The claws of the
think-
Claws.
The claws, yeah,
Oh,
of
claw.
either a scorpion, because the Ferronis also has a tail, or a crab, but crabs here also have a tail. Not a crabble, these are Xenoblade 2 crabs.
Yeah, crusted.
We're going to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It definitely looks inspired at least.
It has
Uh,
4
that's
That's
legs.
very fair. And we know of other Ferronises that are kind of animal inspired, like Colony 11.
It'd make sense as well, considering the fact that these are considered animals in their world. So instead of making some of the Ferronises animalistic based on our fauna, it makes more sense for it to actually be based
Yeah.
on in-game stuff. So I can see the reference and relation between both of them.
Also, they are called Ferronis, like from iron. Fer comes from iron, and Bionis, and in Japanese they are called Tetsukyoshin, and Bionis is
We should
Kyoshin,
be iron
something like that.
giant.
Yeah, these are like iron Ferronises, or these are like gods
Yeah.
for them, so they are part of it. And now for Colony Gamma, it reminded me of a quad wing, or like an owl in general, because of how it protects the colony in its wings, feathers. You get the idea, right?
Mm.
And the eyes on the mask of the mobius of the consul of the colony.
Yeah, this is Consul G,
Consul
the
G.
one in the teacher's quest.
Yeah. It has like eyes of an owl, but that's kind of a stretch, like most of the stuff about Ferronis here. This one,
I think it's very. If you go to the previous one again, it's very interesting how if you zoom on the flame clock, how it's colored,
Yeah, I
and
have
of course
I
what
have it here.
underneath the flame clock, just underneath the flame clock also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The convict
yeah,
shape.
we'll talk about that later if you want.
I did it in a prior video that almost nobody saw. The episode 2.5 of my lore analysis series. That the artifices have this one, and artifices are AAR
Wave
designed by
generators.
the Trinity processor. Well, Ferronises were created by Origin, which is a replica of Pentas, which is a Trinity processor, etc. That's of the idea.
Mm.
Like the artifices of
I-
Ionis.
I guess that's
Hmm.
a cool idea.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know it
For
has the
development.
Aegis on it. The whole time I thought you were talking about the flame clock, but yeah, the Aegis core on it.
Slave generator. Yeah, that's the slave
Yeah.
generator,
Yeah,
just like the
slave
artifices.
generator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This one is like my favorite Ferronis, personally. I don't know why, but when you when you say, for example, a machine god, this is what I imagine. Something like this, floating.
It literally dies in the first
Yeah.
5 seconds of the game and
So
never
sad. Yeah, it dies so quickly. But in this concept art, there's a tower in a floating terrain near about it, and I think, but this is kind of a stretch, that is Grandel. But I don't know what you guys think. Well, this
Yeah,
is
that's-
I mean,
unused.
whatever.
I think
This beyond unused. This is
I don't know if the scale, based on the size of most Ferronises and based on, you know, you can see the Ferronis there, you can see in contrast to the actual terrain. I'm not sure that lines up because Grandel is massive,
yeah, but
but that's not to say that the Ferronises weren't originally designed to be larger. Considering that looks, you know, 2 to 3 times as big as the existing colony gamma. So it could be it's just based off of
that looks more like castle size to me. Like
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
I still
Ferronis.
remember that this is
Ferronis
concept
itself.
art, so sizes weren't really
As
taken
JB
into
said, it
consideration
dies.
that much.
It dies in the first few minutes of the game.
Mhm.
My favorite Ferronis. And a quick part about the Levnises. Well, these ones have ears and claws, remind me of Goromoti people. These ones.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the Rothian scales. This one are clearly Mechonis based machines.
Yeah.
Nothing to analyze here.
Yeah, of course. It's Kevas. Everything is mechanics based in their designs.
Based,
I mean,
as
it's
Egil would say.
It's interesting to speculate about as well because we know that the Ferronises are made inside of Origin, made by Mobius themselves, but it isn't ever really touched upon where the actual Levnises come from. Because they could be just like Ferronises developed inside of Origin
But
and
you can
supplied
cut
to the
it.
soldiers on the battlefield.
They are not as strong as the Ferronises, you can cut them. But could
No, yeah, of course.
And
yeah,
they
but
use
that's,
ether.
that's my point. That these the actual Levnises themselves may have been developed by people like Valdi, those that are on the ground, and use them for their purposes. It's just some interesting thing to think about.
And what we talked before, at first they had like a red and blue part of the flame clock, kind of like the universes colliding.
Yeah,
True.
same colors.
Very true.
We
Also, the new flame clock colors are like Agnian yellow and Kavesi blue. And in the opening cutscene of Xenoblade 3, when we first see like the worlds collide or matter collide or whatever, it's also using that same like yellow and blue rather than the red and blue. So I haven't thought too much about that, but I imagine it has something to do with maybe something they changed regarding that.
Yeah.
okay. Shroom is
Oh, yeah,
typing.
not really much to add. Not really much to add to this flame clock, at least for me.
I like that anyone who will be watching this video will not know who Shroom is at all. Because they aren't talking at all and they're just
You're
typing in.
assuming people will watch this video.
That is also true.
Do you think part of it might be because, I don't know if it actually lines up exactly, and I've just double checked with a color wheel, but blue is the opposite. Blue and yellow are the opposite sides of the color wheel to one another.
It's
compared
normally
to red.
blue, yellow, and red are all primary colors, so none of them should be opposite of each other. Blue's opposite should be orange, red is green, and yellow is purple.
Okay, now we are going into the next area that also has lots of pictures that are, how did it call? Photo bashing? How was it called? Yeah, photo bashing. Like a 3D model and then some drawings about. this page. Well, first, the Ego's Wilderness. We can see some Mechonis arm, the fallen arm parts that are on this
Yeah.
area.
As a fallen arm enjoyer, I really enjoyed Ferronis as well, with how it's structured and how it looks. So, obviously we have the fingers that are still a staple since first game, with all the reference and also the secret spot.
They added these trees that look like spines with some insect wings instead of this, but I don't think that's the case. Why do you guys think they may have cut this concept? Because like the rest was ready, like the Makna hideout ring.
I think that they just wanted to recreate the fallen up map section with the village and the finger behind. So they just threw out this part in this concept art, these arcs made with the Mechonis fingers.
Yeah, this is the terrain where that part should have been. As you can see, we can insert it. Well, there's a Hole of Annihilation event here, but I don't think that's related. And I also compared the rocks in the background, but that's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, I just think that it's because of just space overall, and they wanted to have the hand behind, and also heads building Elias Highway and the wall of the Alexandria's colony section.
Yeah, here we have like an image of the fallen arm and where the Makna hideout is here. The fingers, I forgot the name of each finger in English. This is like the fat thumb. And these are the others. And these are the rests of this one that has fallen, or this one. One of them, but I don't know. Maybe probably this one due to the proximity. Where else? Yeah, and this is just theorizing, but as most of the Ferronis region is, as you can see, the Golden Country. How was it called? Torna.
Yeah, it's
Because-
also made by a lot of stuff is made by Torna. True.
Yeah, you have like the main spine section of it, where you fight against Malos at the end. That is cut in half here, and the Danak Desert, of course. But the thing is that Auresco should be around here if we follow the follow the how the terrain is built, something like that in the minimap. On the
Yeah, I
cliffs
can
of
see it
Danak.
especially for Auresco. Not so much for the bottom part, but I really agree on Auresco.
And imagine if we follow that that section of the fallen arm is there. Imagine if this area fused with Auresco. I imagine something like this, but this is not an analysis. This is like a wish list, wishful thinking. I don't know. Just give us one more DLC.
Bro.
Yeah, where were we? Yeah, mix Auresco with this part and we are done. Okay, this is another photo bashing area. As you can see, most of the base terrain was done, except for the plants. But they
It's very weird here
Yeah.
on the right, on the left side.
they placed like a bunch of cheddar cheese. Or, I don't know.
Is the Makana sword red?
Truly don't know what that.
Oh, yeah.
What that is.
Makana
Weird.
sword looks red.
More rusty.
Yeah.
I guess it's just an error in the
Yeah, it's probably just something weird.
concept art thing.
And
Yeah.
here we have Noah, which they brush over.
Yeah, it gets
Paint over
brushed
now.
over.
Yeah.
I really don't know what he's called the cheddar is all about. It's very weird in this image.
It has plants, so maybe more parts of Danak, like the direct part that fuses with Danak.
It could have been flowing more
Nah, I don't
into
think
the rest
so.
of Vegas, yeah.
And well, I like these trees. Whereas this part too, they draw like a weird rose, a rock shaped like a rose, and here too like flowers. But the terrain aligns mostly. Yeah, I compared every rock in this artwork. Like this weird shape here, this here. It should be a doctor.
Which part is that one?
Like near the entrance of Ego's Wilderness, before you arrive to the big part.
Oh yeah, it's where you can choose between going to the left and to the right.
Where you can fight Tracy. And speaking of curvy terrain like before, these parts of Torna were very much like almost tilted with the trees. Like in this part of here, but the opposite.
Yeah, in general, you can see that this is probably exactly like where Colony 9,
Yeah.
where Colony 4 is. Even the Ferronis is
the finger has
basically the
been
same.
translated here, but moved here, yeah. Instead of floating and frozen like at the... So this is later on, and Colony 4, yeah, it's very much closer to the final version here.
Very close to the final version. It's much more canyon-like.
Yeah, like Oblivion.
It follows the trend of the entire artwork just being much more spiky and taller, with basically every single place.
Like a small area here that there could be something here. There are like trees.
But yeah, I feel that this area more or less, like I can obviously see how the concept was and how it turned out in the game. It's still pretty similar. If you exclude all the tall parts that in general were changed as a general design thing for the game.
Okay.
I guess also the artwork. I guess that also the artwork played a huge part in changing this concept art.
Yeah. Okay, Colony 4, it's like the most consistent design of all the artwork, along with some areas.
True.
It's like
It's a damn good design.
Yes.
So I like that.
It just works.
It just was very consistent. Yeah.
What else? It has like it's like small town.
They just made it more mobile. It is more of mobile fortress,
Huge
but
mobile
more
artillery.
mobile than fortress. Exactly.
Oh, and Ethel Ferronis, there was a concept art of it being silver, more like Ethel coat. Silver coat Ethel instead of black.
Yeah, which is also very funny because I think that we have a piece of concept art of Ethel where she has a black coat instead of a silver one.
Black coat Ethel.
Color of the flame clock is interesting.
You know, they just swap the colors.
Yeah. Colony Iota, the concept of a colony hanging from an arc was also seen like in Bionis arc, and even in Pentas, like hanging. But in this one, it has a creepy face, and it's Kevesi.
I really can't really figure out how that works exactly.
This is like the log.
I guess that the Keves colony just hanging, we have that with Baldi's colony 30. But that hangs on the walls, not on the ceiling.
And let's go now to the Rivit Flats and Ravel Tablelands section. Well, it was much bigger, as you can see, with much more curved terrain. I love this.
Yeah, in general, this concept art is insane and obviously not
possible on Switch.
Yeah, not possible on Switch or maybe even other consoles, honestly, because it's a lot of work. Like it just looks like a lot of work. If you take the size of that one Ferronis, which is probably just another copy of Colony 4, even if it looks like it has a single wheel, unless it's just a perspective, but whatever. Yeah, you just see that this is completely unreasonable in size-wise.
It looks
Or
more
maybe
like
in the
Dorna.
future, you know.
Mm.
Maybe in the future.
In our future.
Exactly.
There are more curvy terrain like in Torna and more lakes instead of just one. And this is something that I posted long ago in a community post, but the cover art of the game also features some terrain that is not in the game. This whole area on the right, and some floating
I
stuff.
remember the community post.
That's the Saffronia tree, the river, and this whole other section with another river is cut. We have just this.
And we have just annihilation events, usual.
And a small section about the Ferronis. I think it kinda resembles its owner, Consul Q, due to the things in the face, and his mobius form. His mobius form also resembles the ring with the spikes.
Go back again in the Ferronis image.
The face is
Yeah.
around here.
It's a
This
very,
is
very
a
weird
machine
platform.
to. How was this term in English? Was this but to
Drill.
fuse metal with other
It's
metal?
real.
No, but it also was used
Flowers?
for has these
No.
three things like the opposite of
To me,
this.
it looks like this kind of design just got repurposed for Valdis colony, a bit at least. The four arms on the side, just making the colony float in midair.
Alright, now let's move to the next part, or we are closer to move to the next part. The entrance to the Orion tunnels had more railways. We only have a few here, and a whole like engine here to power up lights, I guess, like petrol or oil engine.
Lights, oxygen pumps,
Oh,
probably
true.
just the usual mine equipment.
We have some doors before that are not present here, but on the prior parts. And this is the most butchered area in the whole game,
Yeah,
with the Orion tunnels.
it's sad.
This is like those
like-
arcs. Yeah.
I like
Continue.
how the one in game is very sad. Like it gives a very big feeling of sadness.
Yeah, that's true. Compared to like in Orion and Xenoblade 2, like it's probably one of the most like cool areas in the whole game for me at least. Then like going into Orion 3 and it's just dead. It's like wow, like
Also consider that chapter 3 is already long, and you have to pass through the whole Uriah and then get to the exit and fight Isord. So, but maybe if they could make a mission where you have to go back to the lower parts, I don't know. Because there's a bunch of terrain you use here, and then an abyss, while here you can see some water falling. So there's like a river under Fonsamima remains.
My guess, if I had to add another section like underneath the mines, I would just use a rope and turn to get up again, an elevator. Because at this point, while you're going through the mines, you don't have ropes yet. You unlock them in Makna, so it doesn't really hinder the linear progression that you need for the story.
Yeah.
So I would personally just unlock that way.
Here, the main difference is that there were some plants that look like butterfly wings on it, and more crystals like in this one.
yeah.
Crystals
The
with ether.
bioluminescent plant.
Yeah, because this was a mine to extract ether, mostly for colony.
Maybe at one point it did look like that.
Yeah,
And
the
then,
closest thing we have to bioluminescent plants is in the demi-human gutter, and in the lost colony, of course. Like,
Yeah, obviously with the saffron tree.
yeah, there are saffronias also in Centaomnia, and all. I guess just the seeds were carried by the wind eventually. That's how we got more saffronia trees. And something that Matthew says to A, that Centaomnia is the only place connected to the other four regions, to the other, not other four regions, the other. So it means that there are only 4 regions canon-wise in Xenoblade 3, which would mean that Keves Castle region, which doesn't have a name, it's just Keves Castle region, should be part of Pentas, and the castles move frequently.
Yeah, I really think that originally Pentas and Keves Castle were a single region, also because the cut between these two areas seems very smooth. But I guess they just didn't manage to put everything in a single loading screen.
Yeah, but
A
that's
single
why
loading zone.
they could have also, if they make this a separate map in the game, they could have done the same for Uraya. Because they having Uraya and the whole Pentas region is what limits the map in Uraya. But that's just sad, wishful thinking. Speaking of, the Waterfall, as you can see, was more condensed in terms of the content, but in the game the building was placed further, the Ferronis Hulk 2 to one side, and mostly that. And it was tilted, there were more buildings near the waterfall.
Yeah, they just removed some buildings and let the vegetation take more of a central spot in this area. I'm really satisfied, obviously, how it looks and how you actually like reach the area and the story takes place within it. And of course, like going into even like going into one of these buildings would have been cool, but that could be just a small detail.
Okay, you can see that the waterfalls are against snowy mountains. And
Yeah, to me this means that they didn't really know what they were doing at that point, because to me at
story-wise.
least.
I think
Yeah.
this one is better in the sense that the waterfalls are facing the right direction compared to for example, the Makna forestry and all of that. While in the base game it was like the forest is behind the waterfall, which is weird. But story-wise, you need to exit Uraya and then face the waterfall straight on to fight Izzard. So I think that's why they changed it. Story decisions. Because you have the snowy area here. And the Ferronis itself, well, the Uraya is the closest. Gembu is the closest thing I could compare it, because it's a turtle with a big chin underneath, and the shell is bigger than the guts, but that's mostly it. I don't think it was a conscious choice. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
This one is just
Doesn't
made
matter.
to resemble another animal,
Mhm.
and it's one of the coolest. Like, it's
And
like
you
the
fight it.
super big Ferronis fight.
I
You
like
can
fighting
actually
Ferronis.
Ferronis, and it's like one of the two fights in the game that actually uses the
The
AoE
red
attack.
circle, yeah, like
Yeah, the red circle.
console DJ, mobius DJ too.
They should have used that mechanic more. It basically seems like it was made just for this Ferronis.
Okay, the rest of Pentas, which JB despises for unknown reasons.
I'm making
There's
a
some
video
Pentas
on it
really-
soon.
The rest of Pentas, visually, it looks very good, of course.
I will force JB to help me on the Pentas analysis video. I have to make a model of
The rest
that.
of Pentas, I like how it looks. Like the look of Makna between upper and lower parts
Oh.
is really nice. The problem, of course, is like how linear it is, at least.
But it's not the first linear
When you
map
go-
we have. I will compare
probably-
it with
It is
Linear map,
linear
yeah.
map, of course. But
Land of Moritha is very linear too, and this one is based on that part mostly.
I would say.
So
I know. I still think that Land of Moritha is my least favorite map in ever in Xenoblade.
Land of
So-
Martha or Cliffs of Martha?
Land.
Cliffs of Moritha. Sorry.
I
sorry.
was saying Land of Moritha is also linear.
No, never
mostly.
mind then. Yeah, still linear.
I like them both.
I will.
I think that this looks very good, but it's very linear as well. Like I said other times, lower Makna it kinda fixes some of my issues with Morita, and it actually gives us a darker side of the forest, which I think is very cool.
Mhm. Well, in this one, the spiral tree is way bigger, like these ones. But that's mostly it. The rest resembles very closely the concept art. So I guess this was very late game, late development phase.
It's either late concept art, just basically they just drawn stuff on top of the in-game models they already had, or
part.
maybe they just followed everything very closely. Because compared to especially like everything before, the concept art for Makna doesn't go to the insane scope that, for example, the one with
Here, this one.
Orion and the Ferronis did. So it's much more easier to like follow actually develop.
And they had already the models for the buildings mostly from Xenoblade 2. Yeah, just a
True.
couple of tweaks. This
True,
one,
true.
this is the same area. I think I wasted a lot of time like searching the specific part, and this is very close to the concept part, so it's not useful for an analysis. Yeah, wasted time there. And funny, this design for Kamurabi's Ferronis looks like this creature, which a meadows.
Oh,
something
true.
like that.
True. It's one of these annoying enemies.
Yeah.
They're also very, very weird.
Recording in it. I just saw it. Okay, well, the sword is empty in this one, but it shouldn't be like that. We'll see that later. But there is like a ballet inside of Uriah, but almost not unnoticeable. And it doesn't
Maybe
matter.
he's right. Pentas did get screwed over. I want to go into a valley like that.
I want.
Yeah, here
this
we're just going
part.
into the insane scope. So I still think that this is early concept art again.
Yeah, I like Uriah with the mouth closed more. Like imagine if you entered through this part, like the caves. With the letter. But here is an interesting thing. Do you see this part right on the left of it?
Huh,
Yours?
that looks like
Yeah, this is the weird part.
Erit Sea stuff.
Yeah, it is sea, but we can see the wheel of Morardain, more floating islands, and apparently the head, like the head of Morardain. So it's like Morardain was fused with Earth Sea at one moment.
I guess they were really just throwing
Ideas,
stuff together.
yeah. This is
That's the goal of concept art.
yeah.
Very cool.
God, I would have loved something like that.
Maybe the volcano area is still active here. The skull is frozen, but in future redeeming, that horn, unicorn horn, is like destroyed by annihilation, I guess. Yeah. And you can see obviously the part where you visit
The shoulder.
the shoulder that is not in the base game, or is in ruins in the base game. Something like that. But yeah. But here we had plants, trees, and all of that. And
Yeah,
even a
which
nice
is
area
weird.
and a volcano. So this could have been Caporn Peak.
Which is very weird, like plants.
Originally thought that these were going to be the Black Mountains before Future Redeemed came out.
Yeah.
Just based off of the fact that most of it looks black.
And
in terms of the
it's-
terrain in this art here, and
I mean, it still resembles the Black Mountain. Like even the way it's like the path up is structured, where it like curled around.
And we
left.
have like these crystals from
yeah,
Balak Mountain.
Valak.
Yeah, so I would say it's probably the Black Mountains. Yeah.
It's very weird to see actual trees on Morardain.
Yeah.
Like Prison Island
Like,
seems to be
It
a bit
cool a
better.
little bit.
Yeah.
Just cool off.
It's not a very like a place where you can really grow trees on.
I disagree. I've been to volcanoes before, and after an eruption, the amount of life that grows there is, with all of the nutrients and minerals that are in the lava, in the magma. Well, lava. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is plausible.
Yeah, of course,
Even the frozen part.
that's how it works with volcanoes. But Mordane is like, even when you see it into, there's basically no trees.
True.
It's all just rocks.
They cut the arm in the concept art, or they didn't keep the arm while we can see it in the base game. Would have been nice to visit this area, especially if it was connected to Pentas, like one map. Because in Pentas you are in front of the hand, and then you appear here when you enter the next area. When all of this forest area could have been. But that's
Maybe.
Maybe.
Those really look like a super interesting place, to be honest. But just going under the hand would be a spectacle, at least.
There are some waterfalls near, for example, Fort Obus. I never pronounced that. Plants, but yeah, there are just a couple of plants, not the whole mountain. And this, I think it was supposed to be the Kebes castle originally, the Ferronis. But you can see Alchemot there for some reason. So this is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is again just the concept artist going
See, and we have Noah, Mio,
going too hard on everything.
Tyon, Uni,
Like,
and this should be
I
Lance
don't know.
and Senna.
I really don't know how people can think that something like this could be even exist on a Switch.
And this is supposed to be the town that we see at the beginning of the game. Wait, I'm recording, right? Yeah. Oof, I was scared for a moment there. This is like the starting town with the clock and all of that. And we can see that in Fort Obirbus, or however you pronounce it, there are, under the Mechonis structures, you can see that there are still bricks and all of that. And I think that, well, the position of this building matches with this one, this center part and these arcs. I think it aligns that these are the remains of that part. But they moved this building a little bit further, so no fountain.
True. I guess they just reuse the same layout also. Very, very smart idea.
Yeah. I like this one. I wish we could go inside this part. I think there would be some interesting stuff inside the buildings.
Yeah, a lot of general like Xenoblade cities and places, they look very good in the scale department, but sometimes they feel a bit like Lego City because you can't really go inside many buildings.
Yeah.
Like usually it's one or two buildings at most, and I guess that's something that could be improved moving on from the next game.
And this is something that some people I think are already commenting on the first trailer. No, the second trailer of Xenoblade 3, where I think it resembles that. Well, in Future Within we have Colony 9, very far from it was supposed to be. And also at the end of Xenoblade 1, the whole military district was gone. And you can see it should be go here. And part of the landscape matches. So I think, I feel that maybe the remains of the military district that were stranded somewhere after the Bionis fell were repurposed to make a new capital, new city. Well, aside from the stairs and the overall, but they have to place more buildings and remove this to put a fountain.
I think it's more likely that they just rebuild it in a similar essence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Was just about to say.
I could see it either way, but I think probably the latter is more likely, just since they probably. Yeah, I can see it either way actually.
Yeah, both works, and none of that matters at the end. So yeah.
Yeah.
There are lots of NPCs here, so yeah, this cutscene had to be pre-rendered. It can run on Switch. As I said before, that cutscene in Future Redeem where all of the NPCs gather to fix the ships.
Yeah, the
it
final
lagged a lot.
quest. The final
Yeah,
quest
imagine
was
with this
long.
amount of people. No, impossible. Colony 11. I don't know why they decided to put the head like looking downwards to the people. I understand, but it removes like the overall shape that it had, and the chest so pointy now. I think that the
Yeah,
chest.
it's very big.
Yeah, and it obstructs the view. I can barely see the head from, for example, this position. So it's like that's an issue. It should be more round, like here.
Mm-hmm.
And
I guess it resembles more of a snake head.
yeah,
Like if you remove the proper Ferronis head,
yeah, and it
actually
has the
resembles a snake head more than what it would be with the head on the frontal frontal part.
and it has some stuff on the sides similar to the snakes in Xenoblade. But aside from that, it appears that the tail was around the bridge instead of around this rock in this concept art. So maybe, well, in this mission, when you go with Assyria to invade Colony 11, you fight, for example, one wave of Colony 11 soldiers, then you go further and you fight another one. Maybe, what if you fight some of these soldiers, and when you defeat them, the snake unblocks that area, and you go to the next one and fight the next bunch instead of going through these walls. That's just an idea.
I don't know, honestly.
That would have been. Go on.
The curious thing for me at this point is how even the other party members are very much more defined in this concept art. So
Yeah.
I guess that they went in with this idea of the snake Ferronis a bit later than what we've seen before.
We'll visit that later because there's more concept part of the snake. But yeah, it resembles, I forgot the name of these precious beans, but it has things on the side. Aspars, thanks. And now with the Sword Valley area. Well, of course, we have more Leftherian appendages or jellyfish
Weird
like.
stuff.
Yeah.
Can't really point exactly what they are. Like of course there's the overgrown vegetation, which is a constant in the overall, both in the sword that we have, but also in the concept art is everywhere.
Even in this
Overgrown
one.
vegetation.
This one is wrong though,
Yeah.
because of the hole.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wanted to
Exactly.
speak about this part. Well, you can see obviously Galahad Fortress, but still like running with some Bionist blood on it. But the thing is that
Running with Meteor.
I've seen lots of people still saying that that Galahad Fortress was gone after you destroyed, but that's just the lower plate. When Mekonis awakens, you can see that Galahad Fortress is still there. So I don't know why people keep saying that this one is correct and Galahad Fortress was retconned into Xenoblade 3 when that's not the
Yeah.
case.
Definitely. And I mean, it could also just be like post annihilation event, Makna's sword, maybe that concept art is trying to show.
But the
it might
only
have also been too early in this.
Just back to the circle, the hole in the sword for the moment. It probably would have helped to tie the three cover arts together a little bit more because you had the Monado on the first game.
Oh, yeah.
That obviously has the.
oh,
Yeah.
that's genius
I think
actually.
It was just, I think it was just thematic, artful choice.
I will have love.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's time to talk about the city, and once again I wasted a lot of time searching for like the specific things when there's not much to analyze, as most of the concept art really strongly resembles the final product, but at the beginning we have some differences. Well, of course this whole area, well, in this there's a hole above the city, so it's not the sword, it's somewhere else. We'll talk about that later, I think.
Yeah,
We can
it's
see-
much more grassy overall as well.
Yeah,
And
and more
also
red.
Actual light.
Natural light, a monado shop, or however you call it,
the Monado.
a monado bike, I hear, or a Kira bike. Well, you can see in this one the bikes remain, this balcony here and some houses with red roof.
Red
You
roof.
guys had to
Yeah.
help me. I forget some words. I'm forgetting words in Spanish and in English. It's horrible. Well, the balcony is present in the game, this part is this part. This weird thing was cut. We have normal stairs instead, which is better for people than this, for civilians, I mean. And there are buildings here where people live instead of weird houses. There's a
Yeah.
fountain here, but the fountain is somewhere else in the base game. Yeah, these are the
In
buildings.
general, they changed a lot of from we can see in concept art. They
At the
changed
beginning,
a lot
yeah.
of the vibe. A lot of the vibe in general.
Here we have the
Like,
Monado shop.
especially like the first one, you showed us.
Yeah.
It's much more brighter
And
it's
red.
sunny compared to.
Lots of red.
Resembles
Yeah.
Grandel a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like more Grandel or yesterday.
Test. It says test. So was this actually planned to not be in the game? Or what do you think? Or maybe just for
Test,
the
I guess that.
sign,
I
maybe.
guess that. Yeah. I think
Monado
it
shop.
might just be.
I imagine it was like supposed to be some kind of like placeholder shop or something to
Yeah.
put around in concept art.
Just buy a Monado. And here I
the
think
Monado shop.
this will be the canteen and the open workshop. I guess. Just guess because of the house above it and the size.
Mm.
Yeah, the open doors on the canteen look similar as well.
Yeah.
It's
It
got the
res-
same sort of.
It kind of resembles more a little bit the city, the old city from Future Within, like
True. Also.
with the sky providing natural light and all of more grass. As you can see, the balcony is still here. And at the beginning, people weren't too fond of the Ouroboros gang, so they just left. They gave them the balcony with a flood just next to it. So repair it yourself. I don't know. This water tank is also present here, but it's fixed. So, but Orion and here too. But yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's a bit more run down overall.
more grass too.
Worse condition.
But it's always like they were scavengers from the very beginning, the city folk. And well, the fountain also, a very rusty fountain. And the memorials had like weird statues that are not in the game. Like I guess it was in the middle, like the hand or some rifles. I don't know. But it doesn't add too much, so but maybe I don't know. I can't imagine how it
Yeah.
would have looked.
The
Or I can-
overall, the overall
shape.
style of the things for the names is
Like
more or
for-
less the same.
Forged iron, and maybe for the shape of the base it will be much bigger, like around here. But here's the thing, it has a big hole above it, and the nearest thing in the base game is this circle on the Ferronis and the Mechonis sword. But I will go back to this image later because I think
Yeah.
the original plan was for the city to be located here because of the red roofs on the buildings. As you
I
can
agree.
see, it also has blue lines. Maybe it was inside of this part, and this is the hole that we see. And
I was gonna
Right.
say the hand earlier, but I
yeah,
wasn't
it
sure.
looks like a Demeconis hand, but also like a Kevesi Ferronis. And
yeah,
in
that
this
definitely
concept,
looked like a Ferronis.
but in this concept art, we have also like a death colony for Ferronis, with the city flags above it, like they took it, like Scavengers, and we have the scan. How is it pronounced? Scavengers. I pronounce it differently.
Scavengers.
Scavengers. Okay, scavengers, and we can see the same houses here that are here and here in the concept art of the city. So I guess they were scavengers from the beginning, and they just occupy different Ferronises. But this
I mean,
will
we
be in
already know
plain
that
sight.
Yeah, we already know that City Folk utilize stuff from both Kevis and Agnus, considering
Yeah, cheaper.
in that one flashback with Noah and Mio's past lives before they became N,
Oh
they
yeah.
were staying at a Well, all the assets that they use is basically a Kavesi encampment. There was no Ferronis present, if you look at that scene with a free camera, but everything there is Kavesi.
Yeah. But well, staying in the Mechonis hand or near a Ferronis would be just in plain sight. It would be dangerous. So I guess they moved to the big sword, but nobody cares about. They erased it from history apparently. And yeah, later on they decide to cover the whole city. Like it will be dark with lots of light, so it kind of starts resembling. And then we have lots of screenshots that are not useful for us because it resembles closely the final product. But you can see this monado shape, or more like Melia's staff shape here in the market of the city. And I just noticed a TV. Or is this like just a frame? Maybe a frame.
I just guess it's an open portrait.
Yeah, but the thing is that
Just to fill in
the city knows a lot about Melia's life. She's engraved in the city's culture, so I guess this will be a nod to it. This monado. But maybe if Ouroboros gang comes and they see Noah's sword and they say, oh, they are similar, they are nothing. It will be confusing, so they cut it. Yeah, and the lines are just like
the lines. Yeah,
aligned with
right,
Melia's.
It could be that it's actually like some sort of replica of some part of the technology of it as well, although there'd be no reason for it to be placed there. Like some sort of generator or light source or some such thing. But that's just
or just for marketing.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is the closest thing we have to the Monado shop here.
Yeah.
And this is the commercial district, so.
The Monado shop.
Yeah. And we have like
Just pick one up.
I don't know if this is also that part, like the commercial district or a circus, but I guess it's the commercial district. Because there are lots of
Monado
tents.
Yeah, I would say the same.
It should be around here, I guess, because of the arcs at the back and this whole area here. But I'm not sure. This one is hard to see.
It kind of ties into the different performance art.
Imagine living here. Oh.
Like how the different houses specialize in different artistic disciplines. Right?
Oh yeah.
It could be representative of performance art. For
That
one of
will be
the houses.
House Cassini, to live freely, right?
The circus.
Well, this is the Manon. No, sorry, this is the Nopon workshop. Forget out. I don't know why.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, I wish that made it.
a
I
brand
would
of
so
pizza.
love to visit a knock-on workshop. That looks so cool.
No, but it's here. It's here.
Yeah.
Well, the symbolism and you can see that the furnaces are right here.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and
how did I forget that?
oh, I forgot to include them, but you can see here, Jijin.
Very unnecessary zoom.
Well, the exterior looks, I don't know if just me, but it reminds me a lot of the Argentum Trade Guild because of the Nopon houses.
Color scheme wise, yeah, it just
Like the whole
There is
city,
more
like a mesh of different cultures. There was a term for that.
I'm surprised how the drawing on the roof, the external one, just survived through the entire thing, from concept art to the final game.
Yeah, that is like almost exactly. I mean, it basically is exactly the same. It's the final version.
While in the meantime, in the previous image, we have the swirl Nopon symbol in the concept art, and we have the actual salmon thing in the actual game.
The Cradle room, there's not much to see. Just a
Yeah,
a
the
couple
Cradle
of.
room is more or less the same.
This part is very different. It's like this is like if the city was abandoned, more overgrown, more rusty. I think
I
the
guess that
closest thing
this is
this
another.
part. Yeah, very old
This
concept.
this looks just like another depiction, like different from the one before. Maybe it's a different concept artist.
Maybe
but it looks like it's the same guy who makes who made the earlier crazy concept art. The
Yeah.
one for
Could
like
be.
Asia.
Or the Xenoblade
And-
2's, some of Xenoblade 2's towns concept art was like this too.
Or maybe
The
this
shading
could
colors.
have been intentional, as like maybe this is one idea of what Hope's Rest could have been like later on.
I don't know.
Hope's Rest?
The old city.
The
Oh, the
original
old city.
city.
Because of the walls. Oh, I don't
Just
have
because of the
visual
ruined
basics.
aesthetic of it, like maybe like the main party in like the modern times or whatever. Go,
We have cranes.
go back to Hope's Rest.
And
are able to
there's a
actually
person
walk.
here with the crane, so it's not.
Mm.
There are people here.
Okay.
I
No, no,
think
it does look-
it could be anything. Literally, it's just a dot.
Like when you zoom in, it
the
doesn't really
two
look
mobile
that
artillery is
worn
not
down.
that
It
great.
just looks kind of more detailed.
Dusty. Oh, that's something that is better than in Xenogears. I will go later on. But well, there's this window. I think it's this one where you can see outside and the entrance, but it doesn't matter really much. This part had more grass or trees above it than in the final version. As you can see, there are some remains of grass around it, but it's completely sealed off. The sign is.
Can you actually ever see the grass on the in-game without
I
the
think
camera?
barely,
No?
but it's closer to the Doyle houses.
Very weird. I never noticed the grass in-game. So
This is this area due to the door, the sign, etc. You get and the arcs. You guys it, but with more plants and people.
yeah, follows the trend of the city was more green, and a
This
bit
is-
more
I-
lively. I guess.
This is late development, I think, or I mean it's very close to the final versions. This building with this one, the entrance, this one.
Yeah, and this is probably much later in development. It's very, very close. You're probably right.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Yeah, and these buildings to live in, like the favelas of Brazil. Like imagine living here with all of these tin foil roofs and all of that. Like, very crowded. But it's better than Xenogears. I will explain why. Wait a bit. Here, no, the next one. Because unlike Kislev, we have air filters.
Finally, air conditioning and filters. Wow.
Yeah, that's because there was like every NPC in Kislev was saying that there's dust here and that we have to close the windows. Nah, at least they have air filters here. This is like at the command building. Not the war room. This is like a separate thing. The war room is close, but I don't know. You can see the whole city here. No, well, half of the city. This building,
Since
I don't know
it's,
what's it.
Since it's a mobile fortress as well, you'd have to adjust the air pressure depending on where
Oh
you
yeah,
move
that.
it or whatever.
Oh yeah, and after they move, many citizens are dizzy because they were very high and then they to the very low. Yeah. There was a quest about that, but has anyone heard if they have deciphered the language, the alphabet, in Xenoblade? Like, and in Metroid they have deciphered the language or other stuff, but in
I
Xenoblade.
don't think.
Oh, we
Yeah,
should try to be
something
the
like
first
that.
one then.
I'm,
Anyone knows how?
I'm sure. I'm sure someone already has, because if I recall correctly, and trying to have a quick look now, if my computer would load, I remember seeing something on Reddit before the game came out, translating the letters in Mio's book in her diary. I'm just seeing if I can get it, but my point is that someone did that before the game came out. I'm almost certain, even if it's not been published online, that the alphabet would have been deciphered by somebody.
Alex, yeah, sorry, it's easier. Yeah, there is a 90% translation for Xenoblade 1 script, and there's full translation for Albrecht's script. Was done during Xenoblade 2. The script, like what the people say, or the alphabet. Oh, here we have a Oh, so this is a I?
Yeah.
Here we have I? Or in this one? I? Or what's supposed to be I? I.
Part of I, yeah.
Not as I saw it as a 7. Silly me. There's like a watchtower that in prior concept arts was like pointing towards thing. I will have liked to see this one, but only during a lockdown I think it will fit the story. But yeah, like a watchtower and the air filters that Kislev people don't have. And this is the Doyle. This should be the Doyle House headquarters, or AKA the Conservatives. I remember going here to free a fellow Colony 14, was it? Remember? The pirates?
You mean Triton's comrade?
Yeah, that got into trouble here, and we fought some city guards, and then
Yeah,
he
I
was
remember
out
that.
like,
That's
I'm
so
okay,
cool.
easy. But yeah, in here it resembles the city from the beginning of the game with in architecture
dome.
the dome. Yeah, but in the game instead of the bricks, it's like made of metal. I don't have the
fair
picture
enough.
here, but the city folk are very advanced. They have refrigerators and radios inside the houses. Not that radio, the other radio. No, but they have
Not a
radios
luxury,
and
not a luxury that they have
refrigerators.
in the modern cities.
And speaking of headquarters, I may be wrong on this one, but I believe it's like an early version of House Cassini symbol, and this is the item you get from the quest If Walls Could Speak, where
Oh,
Rex finds
true.
this stuff from Tantal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
But there were
and you
symbols
actually
all
find
over
them
the
again.
place. Yeah,
And you actually find it again in Future Redeem.
yeah, in
so,
Future Redeem and in
yeah,
2.
this could really be the house casino.
And then in theory Cassini would have kept what Rex found, so Link had kept it. But you were supposed to come inside the building at some point. We have like old furniture and wooden parts, so I think this is very old too. There's more wood than anything else. Or no, what do you guys think? Or maybe I'm seeing wrong and this is
no,
No,
that's,
no,
I
I
think
really
you're
agree.
spot on.
I really agree on this house casino theory.
Yeah.
okay. Here they changed the room, the floor from a wooden floor to a rusty metal. Yeah, a very appropriate for a clinic to give birth here next to rusty metal. The lamp is mostly the same, the curtains too, etc. But yeah, instead of wooden floor, rusty metal. This is the hospital. The thing
That
we-
more or less is just the same.
Yeah.
They kept it relatively really the same. They didn't really change much.
And this is where the people, well, the Ouroboros candidates live.
Oh yeah, that's the hotel.
The entrance. This building is very far though. This building is the one where the cradles are stored. I don't know why they put it together in the concept art, but these are the rooms. There was this is better than the base game because there's a stair to get there, and you have like, how is this called? In English?
Banister.
Yeah, next to the stair so you don't fall. But in the base game,
Yeah.
there's none.
Hand,
So you
like
can
a hand
fall.
railing.
Yeah, that's the thing, hand railing. And the
It looks
reception.
like you can actually
is
walk
one.
out on the balcony too.
And the
Also,
reception
I just
is-
made
Hmm?
a small amount of progress with the alphabet. I went to go find the Nopon workshop because I was curious about it. By the way, there's 0 Nopons in there in my game for some reason at the moment. No wonder I
You've
didn't
not done
identify
the
it as such.
quest.
No.
I know. I need to get on with it. Anyway, I've got the letter for Y because you can actually read the sign. It says Nopon something O something O. There's a second word, not on that sign there, but in the in-game.
This one.
And that upper screenshot there, right?
An O and a no.
Yeah, see,
No pun.
see, that's the bottom one. The top word is N-O, P-O-N. So the middle one is P
No pun.
that we don't have yet. It's got a weird little Y shape with a dot in the middle of the Y.
We could do like a project later on trying to translate the stuff. Would be
Wait, then
interesting.
the second word is something O, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Something else.
No idea. Anyway, I won't distract us on the alphabet just yet. Back to what you were doing.
Where is this? Yeah, this is mostly the same, but there's more light here. I like it more cozy, but doesn't matter. The museum, it was more in a park, open air, with lots of doors, which kind of resemble the final product has these weird entrances. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
it
like
was more open air. Yeah, just like you said, instead
With-
of a closed building.
yeah, with a park. The people are very different. We have a Goromod here, this guy, and
A normal person. on the
high
right.
end, yeah. But people have talked about this a lot before Future Redeem, I guess. So it's not very relevant now.
And also the Ouroboros stone just looks like an egg.
Yeah,
It's just much more,
Much less.
much
Smooth,
less mechanical.
well, they kept the city livenesses here, and this is not the right order, but yeah, the shops are mostly the same. I wish we could do more stuff in the shops, like in Xenoblade 2 trading stuff, because there are lots of pretty shops, aside from the ROPs. There are some
yeah.
stuff here. The shops are unique. They have unique items, like jewelry and stuff. I wish we could visit them more.
Yeah, in general, itemization in 3 is much less relevant.
Yeah, that's true also.
It's more on pure character progression than items.
It could have been for gem crafting to, for example, exchange items and get the items for the gem crafting, maybe. But well, the canteen is mostly the same. At night, at least, the lights turn on. But as you can see, this picture is a little bit more saturated, but it's to resemble
More
the
or less
concept
the
art.
same, though.
But it has more, for example, carpets here and lights. But 10 out of 10 would it again. Oh, there are some tables outside here where you can order stuff. It reminds me of Japan in some stores in Shibuya, I mean. Where you can order stuff.
Hey, you're the only one here who went to Japan, so you're the only one who
Ah.
actually knows.
Yeah.
I've been to Japan twice.
Nice.
Just to
really?
Someone else
Yeah.
gets it. Sorry, yeah. The exit
Yeah,
of the
no, but-
canteen, it's mostly the same. The frames are different though. You can see some waves here, I guess, like when the time became still waves, or it could be something else. It's hard to see. And here you can see Erythia Sea, Uraya. Can't see. Oh, this is Nicole Ortiz. I don't know why he's here.
True, there's a photo of Nicole for some reason.
And this is the
Maybe
Makna
the
Waterfalls,
owners-
but from the Great Cote Falls, but from a different angle. I don't know if it's the same in game or it's early concept art. I don't know. Imagine if we got like the concept art pictures here framed in the canteen, like an Easter egg.
That could be cool.
I think Breath of the Wild did something. No, Twilight Princess HD had a picture of Breath of the Wild's concept art. I remember.
True, I remember that thing.
Okay, this is like the commercial district with all of the shops, pretty much the
Yeah,
same.
but from behind.
And some buildings. Imagine living here, like outside of the store. Well, if you are a storekeeper, it's useful, but if not, very noisy. But still, honest building. This one, this should be like the balcony of the same room, so they have stairs going down. I don't know.
Maybe see
I
the
would
other
like
one.
to visit more some city buildings. Would be interesting to visit inside, I think. Give us a City People spin-off, please.
Sims.
This part's mostly the same. The elevator and where you can get the Yggdrasil ship. This part reminds me a lot of Xenogears, where you exit the Yggdrasil and enter Bart's hideout. I don't know if you remember, with the weird Rivit. But that's not very interesting. Now, the city Levnises, they resemble a lot of the Colony 1 mobile artillery, and even these
Colony
ones.
9.
Yeah, original Colony 9. Even these ones that, for example, Metal Face threw one of these to the Coronel Vanguard, but you can see in the concept art that they have cannons, and even these, like the tanks, how are these called?
Tread.
The threads, yeah, tank threads.
Okay. This one is very similar to the final one.
Yeah, much more reminiscent of the final one.
This
With
one
the
is weird.
giant backpack.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah. Well, we.
And even with Vandam, Guernica Vandam, we get a very similar scene with his Levnis.
Yeah.
With Colony 9 Fiora at event.
Yeah.
Very similar scenes happen there.
Also, the city people wear similar, or well, actually the same outfits that the people wear on the city at the beginning of the game, and so their Lemnises looking alike. It also makes sense, like they are borrowing technology from the military district.
Based robot designs.
Okay, and here are all the instances of people of the party wearing physical weapons instead of summoning blades. In the city, for example, rifles, like in Xenoblade 1, where you could equip different weapons, skins. The Monado Rex is very present instead of Noah's blade. At some point, they decided to let's give him his own blade, maybe to retrieve Lucky 7. When they planned Lucky 7, they said, we can't use Shulk's
The Monado
replica.
Rex.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I really want to know.
Yeah, this is
what
a shitty edit
the
of...
development. If there's any development history behind using the Monado Rex.
Noah in the concept art has gloves, but the gloves would not allow us to see the marks, so I guess they removed them. But imagine if he used the Monado replica instead. This was made in PowerPoint, so don't laugh. I don't have Photoshop. And this one is even worse. Because the weapon cuts part of your head. But Mio, or what we
The
think
double
it's
blade.
Mio, had like a double-edged sword.
The double blade will be. It's basically a shears weapon. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
I
basically
wonder-
got swapped around.
I wonder at what point, like, the class system came about with the whole pulling the weapons out of thin air.
Yeah.
Like how early this art is compared to the game design final kind of
I really think that
plan.
these pictures with this kind of no and meal are very early on. Because also we don't have Gormoti party members in this picture.
Yeah,
No,
a
no.
lot of like the stuff like
We have
pre-
only high hand here.
No, but in this picture, at least, well, she's not Gormoti, but we can see Goromod, the Goromod waterfall on the back. So this is
Yeah,
post Xenoblade 2,
I think
and we have the Monado replica. So maybe at the same time of Future Connected, the development.
I think the development process can kind of be seen through the images, but I think the party and I think the areas were probably to a certain extent planned out before Xenoblade 2 and whatnot.
But it has very angular shape, more like Agnian arts and stuff.
Oh, so that's supposed to be kind of like Senna's concept, right?
Yeah, small
Uh,
guy
Yeah,
with
I-
heavy
which is
weapon.
more or less the same.
I've been playing Gears, and actually Emeralda reminds me a lot of
Oh, this one.
Senna. And yeah, she has green hair in this concept. I wonder if that's a coincidence. or
She
not.
also
Maybe
has like
similar to
Poppy's. I
Emerald.
just noticed she has like Poppy's arm on them, and Poppy is literally based on Emeralda.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
and she like the scarf and the gauntlets.
Yeah, that's
Senna also has
very
Interesting.
Arsons as her Ouroboros, has an art named Hammerhead, same as Emeralda. So
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
we are onto
maybe a little
something.
bit.
Yeah, really just the concept here for this pseudo Senna still obviously fits very well into what she is.
Yeah.
Like they obviously went with small woman with big weapon. Haha. And yeah, it's still the same thing.
Small one. Aerith Sea. Well, it's mostly the same, but this area was locked behind more of these vines from the Diphtheria. And this
Yeah,
arc was
usual
cut.
concept art. Yeah, usual concept art, more vegetation.
Yeah, and there was more
Gold
water falling
art.
from them, I think. I don't know if it's
Oh,
water
yeah.
or just plants. White plants. Could be both.
Probably
Mhm.
it's probably water because you can see a waterfall in
Yeah.
the final version that's not there in the
Yeah, we'll go back to that one later. Well, this area, it resembles a concept art from Xenoblade 2, mostly. You know, weird.
Mm.
I don't know
I
much
would
to
say
say
that
about this
in
one.
general. I would say that in general, yeah, Eritrea in general as an area. From
Yeah.
what I remember, concept art and the actual final game still look very comparable to each other.
This is just a thought, but if we had a Galahad Fortress pumping Bionis blood, or ether, and
Yeah,
the
ether.
sword was just above the Ethereum remains, could this green ether be like blood falling from the sword? Just a thought. Imagine like an idea, a different
Yeah,
scenario, because
Actually,
this is very different, of course. This is not blood from that.
Oh yeah, and
It's
the
close.
green stuff like burns when you
Yeah, isn't
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
just like
yeah.
Ether from Xenoblade 1, which was getting moved around a bunch and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it could be like
that's a
some
really good
kind of
observation.
weird remnant from that.
I'm pretty sure that's actually what this is.
Yeah.
And this waterfall, no, I think this is another waterfall, but still, this is one that resembles this area, but they had more woods. For a moment, I thought this was more like Kool-Aid Lake, but then the area matches more this one and the one in the back, the mountain and the rocks. Yeah, I like comparing rocks. I prefer the final version, but if they added these orange plants, would have been better. But I like these vines from the Diphtheria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
These vines are very cool.
Yeah, we had more floating islands in the concept art, and Diphtherian remains are more intact. You can see they are purple.
I would have liked this, I think, a little bit more than actual Erythia. I would have loved to have gone over on floating islands again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Diphtherian's more purple.
But then they would have had to have made the boat do more than just be a boat, you know?
Mm,
The dream of flight. We
I
can't have.
my idea is
Then it
that
really would be a Xenogears again. We could have a flying boat.
oh yeah, my idea is that they could also connect more areas through vines from Diphtheria, the tentacles. But that's just a personal idea. But yeah, you can see these weird teeth, spines, all over the water, and the big waterfall, like in the concept art. But Keves Castle was here. Alchemos, basically.
Castle looking awful lot like Oblivia Ring and that.
This area, as I was saying, imagine more tentacles connecting some islands, like land bridges, and you go with the boat under it. It will be pretty. But the 3D model of the stuff on the background, you can see that it was mostly done. So this is late development game stage. It was more purple here, but it's black here. You can see, for example, Corn Island, very different from the final one. But the idea of having the Alchemos teleporter is present in almost all of them except this one that resembles Noctilum.
I like this a lot. God, that's
Yeah.
I like both. Why? Imagine if
I
we
mean-
could get this one, and this one, the three in different locations, connected through
Yeah.
tentacles. But
Oh
it
my
will
God,
be
yes.
too much for the Switch. That's the issue. Corn Island is one of the worst ones in terms of performance. Lots of lag because you can see lots of islands from there and it lags a lot there.
I mean, the game's got a lot of poor optimization anyway.
Yeah.
And at times it's good, like we demonstrated the other day in Makna, with how the Keves Castle was really cleverly loaded in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of other areas in this game, Origin is an incredibly notable one. Because there is not necessarily for performance, but how poorly everything's optimized inside of Origin.
Right.
I imagine on Corn Island it's a similar scenario where most of the actual terrain throughout the rest of Erythia is still loaded in, but it doesn't need to be on top of having everything else loaded in here, so it'll just be poor optimization.
The Ark is present here, but not the crystals. The little island is present too, but it's still not the crystals. It was a later decision. They added corn.
On optimization also.
Yeah.
Sorry, just anecdotally, this game has crashed on me probably more than any other Switch game that I've played. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that.
No, I think that's your Switch.
I never had
I have
crashes.
never had that many crashes on this one.
Yeah,
I
probably
literally
it's my
had
Switch.
0 crashes for this game.
I need some more thermal paste. Anyway, back to the beautiful artwork.
Well, in Future Redeem, this island had more trees compared to the final version here. That area has trees here. So in Future Redeem, we did visit another region, as I was speculating before I
wonder
was
if-
deception, but it
I
doesn't
wonder
count.
if that's the reason for that. Actually, might be this is going way back from early games design. It might be a really clever strategy. One of the most common things in games design or animation or any form of media like this is to chuck in a load of trees because they're low poly, they're low asset, they don't take up a lot of resources, and you can scatter them everywhere. But they do an amazing job of blocking the view. And I've never used the free camera here, but do we know if the entirety of Erythia is actually loaded in? 'Cause
I
it might
have
not
no
be.
idea. Yeah, probably not.
It's probably not loaded in, and the trees are just there to hide what you might normally be able to see.
Just billboard
idea.
textures.
Well, do you guys think this is called Corn Island because of the corn-like plants? Or is it just me?
That's a good point.
That's funny as fuck.
Honestly, it might be. They've got a name after something, don't they?
Okay.
Damn.
Now, back to Ferronis' B's console resembles V, of course, or P also has like a hat like this, but not much to see, the one in Lost Colony.
But this is console V, you said?
Yeah, V.
You know,
Yeah,
his,
his Ferronis is literally a V, so it works.
Yeah. He's very full of himself, so the Ferronis looking like him is not far-fetched. But it could be far-fetched from my point of view. Like, I could be... This is like a stretch, saying that all the Ferronises look like their consoles, just only a few, and... Yeah, not important. Now this, for Colony Moo. How do you say Colony Moo? It reminds me of
think
a
it's-
cow every time, like... Moo.
I think it might be Mew,
Mew?
but I
Oh,
could be wrong
nice.
about that.
Like they had the idea of the Lefterian tentacles, but with the Ferronis, and it was way bigger. Look, this is the terrain where Colony Moo is. So this thing was huge,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
and I imagine you could walk on the tentacles and fight the thing above here, like when you fight that one weapon on Xenoblade 2 on Temperantia that was fused with a Titan. Imagine going here and fighting like the body of the Ferronis.
This might be really early concept art again, though, because
Yeah.
you can see the castle in the same image, and it looks. I know, like, it's difficult to get an exact perspective. That looks almost as big as that, if not possibly a little bit smaller, but it looks. I mean, it's way too big in terms of size. So this might be before. They might have genuinely wanted to have Ferronises be massive
yeah.
machines.
Yeah.
Which I mean would kind of stick to the lore. Like, think of like Colony Colony 9, for example, because it's one of the only Ferronises you can actually go inside of. And then think of how many inhabitants Colony 9 actually has. And if you were supposed to believe before that when Colony was relocating and repositioning from place to place, that everybody fit inside of it, like, yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but there are lots
hangar
of
is pretty
doors.
big.
There are lots
you
of
know.
doors that you cannot go into, and there are more windows on Colony 9, so it may be possible. Alex says Takahashi has always wanted massive shit. Yeah, me too. Given they almost made blades in Xenoblade 2 like 14 feet tall. I don't know what feet are, but
40 feet are a unit of measurement here in the west. It's-
in the rest of
Jesus,
the
I'm-
world.
yeah, let me just look.
Well, but
I
I
No
re-
disrespect.
now you said that.
What is
I
it?
remember
It's
they
like
said
12 meters.
they wanted the blades to be like an
Okay.
Ultraman summon, and we got that with the
1
Ouroboros
foot is
interlude.
equal to about 30 centimeters, if that
Oh.
helps you.
Yeah, like summoning Ultraman, as they say in an interview. The
Also,
Elvis Crucible.
the ring on the back.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry. Just the ring on the back, like the reference to the Enel character from One Piece in the voice chat there. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
often either a reference to like Fujin or Raijin,
Yeah,
like the god of
I know.
lightning or the god
Yeah.
of wind.
Yeah, same symbol here.
So, yeah. So this is probably Raijin then, I'd imagine, in some way.
This is reusing part of the design of Colony Sigma, actually. These parts.
Oh,
This is
interesting.
Colony Sigma, but they changed the head a little bit. And a saucer-like body, but Colony Sigma, my beloved. Okay, this is LP's Crucible, but like part like cut in half, literally. You can see it's exposed. The interior is exposed, but in the game
That's cool.
we have it like at this sandy area, which I also like. And the inside of it, of course, you can go under it, and you can still see some of the stuff that was supposed to be there. But you have these branches. We don't know the actual size of the Lithurian Titan, the main body, so the Spirit Crucibles all being linked to this part is not far-fetched, because we know it's big and it's hiding behind the clouds, so... And you get it, right? What I'm trying to say? Yeah. Now, on Ferronises, we have... Well, from this one, we'll talk a little bit more later, but... Yeah, the Man of the Sea. Triton's like if it were Pacific Rim, walks on water with this. Like it has a platform above, which resembles this art. It was first like a quadrupedal mech with a city above it, and then just a biped, and then smaller. The face is different here, but it doesn't matter. But the thing is that from this Ferronis, we got many other smaller ones. Like we got the ring to make Kebe's castle. We got the quadrupedal part to make the Colony 30. And we got the bipedal version of the one with the ring to make the colony of Triton's colony. So in Soul, this guy here is still with us.
Yeah. Looking at the concept for that one, it's almost as if the way it's got the bipedal form and the quadruped form, and then what looks to almost be like a hand at the bottom there, it may have been able to change shape or transform in some way.
It's almost like, well, this is almost Mechonis-sized, right? Almost, a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
And this one, Aged Colony and Colony 5 are basically the same thing, but it has like a hiding mode, a turtle mode, and then... But this one has extra legs, but it... Like, this part goes inside this one and becomes this.
Yeah, did that not make it into the game?
We have this one, but we have them as separate colonies. We don't see them transform. However,
Right,
this
'cause-
one is in the desert, and most of the Ferronis Hulks appears to be a model of this one. So this, how to say this, sucks in terms of performance, but it has good durability in terms of materials. While we never see
Yeah.
Agnian Hulks, Ferronis Hulks, we only see this one. So the engines are very good. But as a Ferronis, it appears that they are not very good. We've never seen one of these win a battle. It lost against Kamurabi or against D, or they mutually kill each other in future redeem. This model sucks. But
Yeah,
it looks
right.
cool.
It's just the images to the right, the renders, they almost look like final 3D. Or I can't tell, they're a bit blurry.
Oh, this one. Yeah, it has like a 3D and then the drawing above it. And
Yeah,
it,
right,
like
right,
this
right.
upper part slides downwards and creates this one.
Right. Oh, that's such a cool design.
Yeah, you can see in the picture below. That's where the.
Yeah.
Can you hear the dogs barking in the background now?
It's really subtle, it's fine.
Oh, cool, because I can barely hear myself now. Very loud Latin America moment. Well, here we have concept of different Ferronises. Like this one is supposed to be between the Bionis arcs, I guess. But it's very fragile. Imagine just attacking from below and you win. Stuff here. What do you guys think of these ones? Well, I like this one personally. This is like a waterfall. Like
This
if
is
it
like-
was a dam.
This one is very weird, yeah.
Yeah.
This
It
one.
looks like a power generator using water. That one just hides. It's a
Yeah.
Looks like a mole.
This is a
Yeah.
mole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little creature.
mole Ferronis.
This has a tail like
a bat-
a scorpion
Ferronis.
or Queen Goma from Zelda. I don't know. It has like hanging.
Then we have the breach Ferronis, which
The-
that's
I don't
also
like this
very
one.
weird.
It's silly. You can attack from below, unless they have lots of cannons. But still, it's like
Isn't
very.
that Colony 11?
Could
No,
be like a
Colony
very.
11 is a snake.
Yeah, but could be an early concept, like a colony as a bridge, hanging. You could have to go through the bridge. These parts remind me of Central Factory a little bit, but much smaller, very much smaller. Is this one supposed to be like Keves Castle? Because it reminds me of, for example, Xenogears.
Shivat.
Shivat,
Military Shivat.
yeah, and also not just Shivat, but
You mean Solaris?
Solaris, that's the one, yeah. Both of them. And this one it appears to be on some tentacles of Letheria, I guess.
Mm.
Hard to say. Oh, here we have concept of a mix of Colony 9 with Colony 4.
That one is very funny.
Yeah,
like
looks-
rolling on the two giant rings.
What else? Yeah, the one that became Keves Castle and Triton's Castle, but Titan's Ferronis and then Linen. This one is interesting. We'll go to this one later. The hand looks like a Ferronis, but it was occupied by city people. No, we've seen all of these ones, but this I want to talk about. This other snake Ferronis. I don't know if this castle is supposed to be like Agnus Castle or maybe the Cloud Keep, but it was guarding it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, for
I
example,
really-
there's a mountain behind Agnus Castle in this concept art. And
Yeah, this
second time
really
we've seen a
feels
snake
like
spawn.
Agnus Castle.
could be Agnus
Me.
Castle or the Cloud Keep, because in this concept art, this is supposed to be the Cloud Keep. It also looks similar. Could be both of them. And well, the two were one and the same.
True.
Yeah, it was supposed to insert itself. The Cloud Keep, it's insert into the rest of the castle. So my question is, was this like another planned version of a Snake Ferronis, or they wanted to make two Snake Ferronises, one from Agnus, another from Keves, and then have them two snakes like the Ouroboros? You get my idea? One snake in each castle.
I can see it either way.
Yeah, maybe.
Nah, I don't think so.
I actually, you know what? If since they're both so very heavily themed towards each respective nation, and obviously the snake is representative of Ouroboros, I'd say it's probably one for each country as an idea. Or
Just give me some time, some people, and I will make a remake and include this. Yeah, hire me. Okay, this is the thing, because for example we have a concept of the Snake Ferronis but from Agnus and here from Keves, like moving through the what could be the Syria hovering rifts, but with grass. So maybe it's just they wanted just one, but they didn't know if they wanted the Agnian one or the Kevesi one. But these islands look
I
more
guess
like Leftheria too.
I guess that they really didn't know what they were, which nation was gonna have something like that. So they were just throwing ideas at the wall.
Yeah, I want the two of them, please, on the Switch too. Okay, the Agnus Castle remains mostly the same on this art. This is auto photo bashing, I think, like the base. Just add water and the
prison.
trees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
if are the lights turned on during the night. I haven't tested it, but this area is obviously this one or this one. This curvy part, this whole the prison is here.
Yeah, the prison and the port.
The trees are not present on this one, but they could add it later. The Agnon castle was bigger, but we never visited like the inside of the Japanese-like building. Reminds me of our Resco a little bit. Maybe if that
Well, yeah,
city from the
very
beginning.
That corner themed.
Oh yeah. Maybe that as that city from the beginning of the game was turned into Fort of Irbus, maybe the rest of Auresco or the new Goromod capital were turned into this one.
I just think that Agnus Castle in general has a lot of Torna and Japanese style.
Well, Nia
inspiration, so
is the
I don't
queen.
think it's really.
Nia is
Yeah,
the
I
queen,
don't think it
and
really matters.
her blade design also has these red robes, white dress, so maybe that's why.
I mean, Torna in general, as like a group and as a country, both are very heavily Japanese.
Yeah, but Nia is
based.
not from Torna.
Yeah, but well, she is from the group, and I said that the group.
Yeah, the
that.
group. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
I could see Oresco in the left image a little bit. Like
Oh,
at
yeah.
the very middle at the top.
With the
Like-
pillars.
Yeah, the pillar in the middle especially reminds me
But
of
this is weird.
Oresco.
Why are the protagonists here if this thing is floating? So was ground near it?
Well, because
Maybe
this
it's
one
actually-
isn't floating very easy.
It's sunken.
sorry.
You see, in the water. Could be.
Yeah,
know,
it could be
it's
rising out of
waterfall.
it.
But with size
Oh.
and details and other shit.
Okay. Please restrain JV here.
No, I
Don't get
will
mad.
put him out. Let me
This
see.
is
Oh,
Capricorn
God.
Peak. Yeah.
That is a poor. That's a sad state of affairs for what happened.
There's like
I've-
this log here that is present here, here, and here. So this is the same area in all pictures. This is in game. This is concept art. Now, speak. Speak your
Yeah,
mind,
much
JV.
more icy. At least the first image is much more icy and there's no way.
I've spoken enough on this topic. It's awful. It's dreadful. I don't have to point out why. I'd have
Would
to
you
point
like
out
it
the
more
flaws. The
like this one?
evidence is rough. I'd like it more like anything else.
Like this final one
you-
is the closest
you-
to the final product.
You know what I'd like. Actually, you know what I'd like the most,
Hmm?
and I think would be the best way to fix this whole situation. Would have just been if when Monolith were developing the game and going through and about to release, just before it does, they released an update-wide patch, which was basically them dragging the Capricorn file into the recycling bin and clearing it. That would have been the best thing they could have done.
Well, these are supposed to be like waves or trees. I don't know, frozen.
Looks like a frozen wave.
Like time became still and all of that. This area is supposed to be the horn, though, Goromod's horn. So that's why it's hard to put stuff. It's too small. This one has red crystals, like organs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The trees
tree
remain.
in there. The tree and the one with the pink in it reminds me of Satoru a little bit on the left. It's got like blue lights coming
yeah.
out of it.
Or like some trees that are in Cadencia in one of the islands.
Yeah.
Like choral.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, sad turn of events. Now the Cloud Keep is mostly very close to the final product. Lantern, this weird generator. It reminds me a little bit of, well, of course, like some Tornan vibes because of the white, but also in this specific image, it reminds me of the Kingdom of Tantal.
Mm.
If you get the hanging lines, etc. There are some pipes too, so I guess that's what the Empire of Morardain added to the to the whole thing. If we consider that this is like a unification of the different cultures, pipes from Morardain, hanging stuff from Tantal, white stuff from Nia, for some reason, and Torna.
Yeah, I think that just like you said, the Cloud Keep is very similar to the endgame product, so
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say overall
No.
for this place.
The part where Poppy is a very different, but it doesn't matter in the end. It has like a core in this one, yes,
Mhm.
but yeah, not much to see. Now Origin, the last area. Well, of course, the memory cubes from Xenogears, we were supposed to have these ones in Origin. Even it looks
Yeah, I
like
guess that they
the term
used
mark,
it as just a reference.
but
Like,
it has
they
the
used it as reference at the start.
it has the term mark, right?
Before
this is
setting for core crystals.
yeah, and specifically it uses the same model or a modified version of the Omega Fetter. The cube.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. I don't know if it's the same model but scaled, but it looks very similar.
It has this. Yeah, it has the exact same aesthetic as core crystals.
So this, I guess, this is the theater and the cubes, memory cubes, store people,
Looks like a PS2
term mark,
memory.
and all of that. Yeah, the term mark. This is the term mark, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, it's got some extra stuff on it, but
This area was like divided. This weird eye, or I don't have the picture here, but it resembles more. Well, of course, Ontos crystal, but it also resembles the rift from a specific angle. I don't have the picture, but there is a specific angle in which the rift looks like if it was an horizontal rift and looks like an eye, but I don't have the picture here. The theater around the memory cubes is right, but there was water. And the ring is...
This is my favorite part of the art book. Oh, it's so exciting.
yes. Yeah.
Like this could pass like water. Imagine if this is water and the ring is here, not just space. Imagine if we combine these areas. Maybe before Future Redeem, this circle was here. I don't know. That's just wishful thinking.
Nah.
No? So the
I really don't.
this is from the
I
arc.
just-
So maybe just inside
That's
memory
the
stage.
heart, that's not origin.
Yeah, just in memory stage then, not physical. Well, the theater is
You know,
mostly the same.
asteroids- The meteors or the asteroids in the last picture, top right, that's very reminiscent of like when you walk through memory space in
Yeah.
the first
True,
game.
in Saturn.
Yeah, memory stage, memory space. Yeah, I think they are the same or based on. Well, Ontos is linked to memory space. Origin was built upon Ontos. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you know that. It's probably linked. Probably.
Yeah, the theater was. But the theater instead was like more gothic, like especially the one that on the left side, much more gothic than the other ones. But what we got is very, very similar to the end
Yeah.
product.
But it was orange, like Ontos, more like Ontos, I think, more than this pinkish.
More like the fog, but then
Yeah.
they just went with mobius themed coloring, which is probably better.
Yeah, and we have the worlds are red and blue, the universes, and so red and blue, purple. Maybe that's why.
Do you think the structure in the image before this one, amongst the golden, sorry, the previous one again, one more back, my bad. Yeah, that structure in the bottom middle picture. Sorry, yeah, that one as well. Do you think that's supposed to be the amphitheater as well?
Maybe,
Yeah, I
but
think-
without
Yeah.
the illusion, because it was all a sham.
Right. Yeah. I've always been curious about what that structure is supposed
Yeah.
to be.
In here, it looks more like a theater. In this one, with a broken
Yeah,
arc.
yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the origin metal shards are very almost the same as in the concept art, and the enemies also have origin metal. So the thing is that this is just theorizing, but I don't think that the people built origin, in the sense that they just prepare the material and maybe through the core they ordered from the shards could join together in certain shapes. I mean that the origin shards are like modular pieces. All of origin and things in origin are like 3D printed, like modular, made out of the shards, and they can move by themselves. And in the final part of the game, the shards like broke free and then reassembled to make the bird shape. So it's everything is modular. So I don't think they built by hand the origin, but they created the material and then they just program it to become what it is.
Maybe you could compare them to nanomachines that can kind of like assemble themselves.
Xenogears all over again.
Yeah.
It's
Merkava.
Merkava.
Yes, Merkava, yes.
the same tech magic that Poppy uses to magically change forms.
What else? The Ferronis are built here, just like the artifices were built by the Trinity processor inside of the beamstalk. So more relation, but that's from my previous video, the extra episode, the smaller follow-up that was longer than the original video. This part remains mostly the same, weird shape here. Melia is captured with lots of wires. Here we have less wires.
More or less the same place.
Tubes, yeah.
Same design with a lot of tubes.
This part, aside from being a Xenogears reference, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but these things rotate, like in Xenogears. But in Xenogears was much more tedious to navigate. It's true. There are like cores here, or just decoration, and golden parts, and some red things here. This is the Ferronis factory. These two parts here, that you can see in this concept art, are where the Ferronises are built. These chambers that we saw earlier. So this is like the central factory of Origin.
Yeah, still very close to
More
what
of
we
this
actually got.
stuff. Here we have 4 symbols instead of 3. This thing, I have no idea what it does, like most of Origin, but this is a thing. I think Origin heavily resembles like the central factory and the world tree in certain aspects, and both of them are linked to Ontos. Ontos made those body for Maineth and Sansa, for example, so you could say Mekonis is like an artifice, and the world tree, the beamstalk, was partially designed by the Trinity processor, mostly. And even this enemy here, I think this one is a reskin of this enemy, a reskin, because of the almost the same attacks and patterns. But if people had to make a new material resistant enough for the intersection, they need something strong to create the origin metal. In each universe, I think the Mekonis chest, where the central factory is, and the remains of the world tree could be used for that. And there are lots of artifices that fell into the ocean, but that's just a theory. Oh, why is it so saturated? I don't know. Do you guys see this normally?
It is.
It's a bit more saturated.
Yeah, in this
than
monitor
usual.
it's like too bright. I don't know why. But this is something I talked before, but yeah, something interesting about N and M, aside from the awesome cape that they have, I wish they kept it, is their masks. And yeah, you know what I'm going to. In the concept art, both of them have a red line under the eye, but in game, only M has it and doesn't, just like the face of Origin.
Look at that.
Yeah, the silver part for the silver console, and the golden part for the golden console. And well, this red line is not in the game, in N's mask. And this earlier concept art also has these double thingies, like shape.
The double holes.
Yeah. Origin, the golden part has like an empty space behind the eye, but under the eye, and the silver part has one above it and a little bit to the side, like his one. That's mostly the only similarities that I find. But aside from that, this face is more feminine than the other one. This is the face that was built on Alrest though. It resembles a Makna, and I guess it's Maineth or something like that, while the other part resembles, you'll know it, a Malthus with the weird chin, the earpiece and the ears. And this is the part
I
that
can
was
see
built
that.
in, this was built in Keves. So they ordered themselves to make the like something from their world, something like that.
I feel like I want to
It's
think
pretty-
about this more, but it seems
Yeah.
like animus. type
Yeah, that classic
deal.
Xenogears shenanigans.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also
in the same way that you pointed out, the X and Y characters also possibly represented like some kind of anima split or representations of an X and Y, and N has like the X kind of core on his
Oh, yeah.
chest. I started looking for like motifs of Y.
X
on,
stands
M's
for
design.
Xenoblade.
yeah. And yeah, there are some subtle lines in M's design, like on her armor, that kind of resemble like Y patterning, but I'll get back to that sort of stuff later.
Yeah, I have a friend that is working on a theory about that, but it's basically alchemy, the golden king and the silver queen, or something like that. That are
right.
yeah, for the male and female aspect, like the Revis, or how you pronounce it, that has a male and female part closer to the divine, and that they married under the eclipse or the sun, something like that. Eclipse is important in 3, but it's his theory, so I don't know much yet. He's working on that
Yeah,
symbolism.
cool.
And that will be it for the concept art analysis. Thank you for joining in. Are you guys up to doing something similar for my next video though? I want to try to make a timeline.
Sure.
Yeah?
I'm down,
I
yeah.
never really watched the one with the Ferronis that much. It was very. These were like new images for me.
Okay, so we can make another BC next time for the timeline episode? Yeah? You guys up for it? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to apologize for not coming in earlier for this. Like I had something going on at the time.
I guess we can all agree that Xenoblade 3 was one of the games of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely, most
It's
definitely.
undoubtable.
Just like the other 3 games. Like concept craft is insane, but obviously they can't do this on these consoles for now. Even with the manpower that they have, like just 60 developers, 80 developers on this game, more or less. It wasn't just feasible to do these huge landscapes that they set out to do at the start with the concept art.
Yeah, these poor
And-
3D artists must be under the pump so hard. They're pushing a
Yeah.
lot of polys.
Yeah, they're already
Wow,
doing
it
that.
sucked,
So,
man.
so looking at the images and like the Keves Castle concept, it's just no way they're gonna be able to do that. Not now, not in like 5 years. You need a much bigger team, higher
it's a
budget,
matter-
and actually time to do
Yeah,
that.
more
a
of a
better
matter of
concept.
time and manpower than it is technology, hey?
Yeah, and not a Switch, not on the Switch. I
just
like
like-
my Switch, but yeah, it's limiting the.
Just
Xenoblade.
like Alex said, they had 8 in-house map modelers. 8.
That's insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well,
Yeah.
Andrew. I
See
will
you guys
just
later.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will
have
just
you
go
edit
to
all of
eat
this
dinner.
stuff? It's over. Yeah, it's over.
Peace. Awesome compilation.
Nice.
Yeah,
Let
Yeah,
us
looking
meet in
through
the
it looks
timeline
cool.
too.
I've never been through all the artwork, so it was at least fun to do.
Mhm.
And it will be for a while and go to it.
Okay, that's it.
See you
How-
later then.
Yeah, what should I do now? Like a clever phrase to end the video, or imagine if the video just cuts up abruptly, see, there's nothing more.
Animate that's all, folks, with the theme song.
I just
your
like
face.
to say, I just like to say, see you on the other side, or something like that. I don't know.
No.
That's what I say at the end of my videos. So.
But yeah, sorry, I had no
will-
idea what was actually going on.
I'm
I hope I
sorry.
didn't interrupt too much.